Welcome to the Online Edge podcast, the only podcast dedicated to finger painting.
Why?
And we're back.
This week's podcast, we appreciate you. Actually, just a little while ago, we hit 100 views on our third video back. So we want to say thank you for that. Thank you for the likes. If you've found high quality content from this podcast, whether you found it on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, or any other places this thing is at that I'm unaware of, give us a like, give us a subscribe. We really appreciate you. Help us hit 50 subscribers. We're trying to hit that in the next 6 weeks. So hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate you. This week, we're going to be talking about reopening because here we are. We talked about it a little bit in a previous podcast about what to think about. We didn't know exactly when this was going to come out. Here we are. A lot of, I think it's 15 states are getting ready to open or are opening at some level, and they have a stage, a roadmap of who's opening when and all of that stuff. And so we want to talk about today, what do you need to think about when going through this reopening process? And so really, Lee, the first question I have for you that we should talk about is, so different categories, right, are like here in the state of Texas, they've pretty much put out a list of, all right, this week this is going to open, right. Next week this is going to open.
There's phases.
Correct. There's like 3 or 4 phases that they've put out. So what is your advice? What is your suggestions for people that are now being able to open? Should they open on the day that is basically put out there by the state, or should they wait longer? What is your recommendation on that?
Here's what I've been recommending for people to do, because we all have a different opinion on how this was handled, on what the government should have done, on what we wish would have happened, on what date we wish we could reopen, all that kind of thing. At the end of the day, business owners are responsible for their employees, their customers, and so you have to adhere to your convictions. I would always encourage people to do that. So we have businesses we have clients that have decided, the day that they say that we can reopen, we're actually going to wait a little bit longer after that. That's their prerogative to do that, and we're going to support our clients wherever they're at. We also have clients that have said, hey, midnight, the day that we can open, the doors are opening up and we're inviting people in, and we're going to support those clients because our job is to help make our clients successful.
Sure.
Period. And so at the end of the day, people have got to make that decisions. Let's say that we're talking to a business owner right now that has decided to open the day they can open. And most of our clients are in that category. So let's just say that's the case. What I've been recommending our clients to do is say, okay, since we know a date at this point, let's chart back 7 days and start advertising the date that you can reopen. For a lot of our clients, we're calling it a grand reopen. And so we're using that language because we want this to be a bit of a celebration. There's a lot of people, you and I have been some of them, that we're trying to support small businesses right now. Yeah. We ate out as far as going to pick up food and that kind of thing. Our family ate out more during COVID than we had in probably the 6 months before combined.
Yeah.
Because we just said, hey, these are restaurants we don't want to see go away. We want to be part of our local economy. And so we were taking out a lot of different situations just because we wanted to support the businesses here. People want to support you, small businesses out there. If you're a small business owner, your customers want to support you. They want to, the ones that feel comfortable being there day one want to be there day one because they don't want to see your business go away, and they know it takes money to run a business, and they know they're part of your success story. So treating it like a grand reopening strategy where you are inviting people back in, it allows people to be passionate on your behalf, and it encourages people to say, hey, it reminds people you're part of this story too. You are part of our success. And so there's a lot of people with the clients that we're serving that their customers are calling them now. They've called them to buy gift cards. They've called them to do all sorts of different things. So keep in mind, your customers want to support you. And so give them the opportunity to do that. Don't play scared right now. The tendency right now is going to be for people to kind of like, okay, we need to back way off right now, and maybe we don't need to advertise right now, because if we advertise, I think people are going to be slow to do this. There are going to be people who are going to be slow to do this. There are going to be people who are going to stay in for way longer than the government's recommending to do, and maybe they should. I don't shame anybody for any of the decisions that they make in all this situation. If they're compromised and they need to stay in for a little bit longer, they should do that. But most of your customers want to be part of your reopening success story. And so give them the opportunity to do that. Maybe that is letting people know you can buy gift cards right now. Maybe that is letting people know that they can start booking appointments if that you're a business that is by appointment now, and you're starting to fill out the calendar. Maybe it is having a grand opening or grand reopening party day one or week one of you guys reopening, something to that effect. But it's giving them an opportunity to be part of that story, because I'm telling you right now, I've heard dozens and dozens and dozens of people talk like that they want to. And you've probably lived that. You've probably said, okay, what's business can I support right now? Yeah. Because I want to make sure that this restaurant or this boutique or whatever is here when we reopen. And I want to be part of that. So that's one thing I would say is just, man, let the customers that want to support you strategically give them opportunities to, and the advertisement side of stuff I said, a week ahead of time. If you give people enough time to actually see it, a lot of times we think, okay, we made a post and it's been 30 minutes, so everybody's seen it on my page. Or, okay, I put an ad up for 24 hours, everybody's seen it. No, they have not.
Yep.
7 days gives the opportunity for most, with a good budget behind it, it's going to give the opportunity for most people to see that. Doing it for less than that, you're not gonna get the reach that you want to get. A little trick that we've been using with quite a few of our clients, this is a really interesting one, is we've been uploading email lists to Facebook. Because what that does is if their email address on your email list corresponds with their email address on Facebook, which most of them do, it gives you an opportunity to build out advertisements specifically for the likes to your page, or to, not even necessarily the likes to your page, to people who have already spent money with you. If you do that, yes, send out an email campaign, text campaign, whatever you do. We have clients calling people, but if you do that, it's another touch point.
Yeah.
And you can specifically create an advertisement thanking people for being a customer in the past and giving them opportunity to be a customer in the future. And little stuff like that is the difference between having a mediocre reopen or a truly grand reopen. And that's going to be important. We all know that. Man, we got to get good starts. We don't need to
can't be slow out the gate.
Exactly right.
It's got to be full steam ahead.
This is an opportunity to do that, because you only get one chance. Just like you only got one chance at an open, you only get one chance at this at the country reopening. And so whether you do it the day you can, whether you wait a week, whether you wait a month, make sure that reopen is a strong one. And that's a couple of ways of how to do it.
That's awesome. So here's the next question then. So what about the people that what about the negative reaction you may get from clients that are afraid, and I'm not picking on these people at all. Like, this is just like, how do you handle the people that are afraid of getting out and maybe are disappointed that you're already opening,
being negative about that?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe in their comments.
How do you handle that? What's the way to position yourself in that situation? Just talk a little, because we know that's going to happen.
Right.
So talk a little bit about that.
Business, it's pretty easy for the most part for business owners to not get political. And this is one of those situations where it can be tempting to be. And you shouldn't go that route. Most of you shouldn't go that route. Sometimes that's your brand and you can say whatever the heck you want to say, and you should. That works. But most of you are trying to reach everybody, and so you shouldn't go that route. So the number one key is even if you feel like you are maybe you're being shamed by that person's just concerned, that person's just scared, and a lot of people are scared and a lot of people are concerned. And so the connection has to be a point of empathy. I say that so many times on this podcast. I use that word a lot, but that word matters a lot. We have to understand where people are coming from. We have to understand that not everybody has the same opinion as we do. And at the same time, we understand that as business owners, we actually do have to reopen and have a business. So it is establishing some level of empathy, letting people know the safety measures that you're taking, letting people know how things are going to look different than they looked before, and just trying to make people feel comfortable with letting them know, hey, at least I may disagree with them, but man, they've taken some steps to try to make this. And you're not going to please everybody. You know that as a business owner, you're not going to please everybody. You're never going to please everybody. It doesn't work that way. But you can communicate with the vast majority of people. These are the steps that we're going to take. These are the safety things we're going to do, because at the end of the day, we want our employees and our customers to be safe. And so communicate, over communicate, and make sure that people know, man, we love you guys, and the last thing we want anybody to do is get sick because of us. Mm-hmm. So these are the things that we're doing to make that happen. And again, you're not going to please everybody, but most people are going to see that and be like, okay, that's awesome. Thank you.
Do you think people should be heavy on the content right now as far as taking pictures of what their location looks like? What does the inside look like? What should people expect before they come into the facility? If that's where if it's a company that requires people to come in, right? Like, I'm just going to use hair salons or something like that as an example. Sure. Like, the only way that they can do business is if somebody physically comes into the location.
Yeah, you can't order that online.
Or can't do curbside pickup or whatever. Is it important to have content that is showing people what to expect before they get there? And does that even make sense to be putting it out there right now? Because of, we know that the reach of Facebook really isn't that big without ad dollars behind it.
It matters.
So
it matters.
What's the strategy with that?
Yeah, so it matters because you're going to be running other advertisements, which means people are going to click those advertisements and go to your page. Gotcha. So you're going to have more people on your page anyway, because you're going to take advice number 1 of this and start advertising 7 days out. So you're going to do step 1 first. So people are going to be seeing your advertisements, clicking those advertisements, and going to your page. So the content on your page is going to matter. It's going to matter a lot. You're going to want to make sure that the content on your page is consistent, but not all of it needs to be, here's what we're cleaning right now. That matters. Do that, but don't make every single thing a hygiene post. Okay. Also talk about, maybe post some old pictures and let people know, throwback to 2 months ago when so-and-so was in here or whatever.
Here's January.
Exactly right. And remind people of what it's like to be part of your community. So let's use the salon example. If you get to throw back to January, throw back to December, that kind of stuff, it reminds people of the feelings that they get when they walk into your store. They want to be part of that community again. They want to be part of your success. Yeah. And so it's kind of a reminding of happier, simpler times, for lack of a better phrase. And so yes, absolutely remind people how clean things are going to be, that kind of stuff. But that's not every post. We also want to be doing countdowns potentially to your grand reopening. We want to do posts actually trying to, if you're an appointment based, booking those appointments, that kind of stuff. So practical things need to happen as well.
Same thing along the lines of, if I've seen some people that are just as the business owner, because here in Texas we don't have some of these restrictions put on place, like as far as wearing masks and stuff. Correct. Inside of a building, like some of that stuff's been moved. So there are some companies that I have seen that are requiring people to wear that equipment before they come in. So that would be also a really good thing. Like, probably to have somewhere where it's up in the open, where, hey, if for the safety of our employees and customers and everybody involved, here are the steps that we're taking and our requirements for you to come into the location.
Yeah, you may decide, if you're 25% occupancy, you may decide to be 15% occupancy. Yeah. So whatever you do, whether you're saying, hey, we're in accordance with the state of Texas, or whether you're saying we're taking steps above and beyond, whatever you decide to do, communicate that. So we have seen people on every end of the spectrum on this. We've got clients that would have never shut down if they hadn't had to. We've got clients that are going to reopen the day of, and we got clients that are going to wait weeks afterward to reopen. Whatever you decide is, hey, this is how I can, in good conscience, move forward. Do that and communicate that. Okay. What we don't want to do is a bunch of ambiguity right now. So however you're handling this moving forward, don't shame customers and respond with empathy if you feel like somebody's shaming you, for good or for bad.
Sure.
Somebody may shame you that you want to require people to wear a mask. Don't let people do that. Respond with empathy in that, hey, I totally understand, but this is the step that we feel like we got to take to make sure that we're doing safety. If you decide that you don't want to wear a mask, don't let people shame you about that. Hey, we don't feel like that's the best route for whatever reason. All that's fine, but just communicate that and
not combative.
Exactly right.
It's got to be
empathy.
It is
so easy to get in Facebook war, even as gosh, we've seen that. Haven't we?
100% we have.
Even as businesses, it's
and
easy.
People are ready to go to battle right now.
Exactly right,
because they have this view, and
emotions are high.
Yeah, emotions are very high right now.
So before you do anything, take a breath and respond with empathy. Good. Because you don't want to look back in something after 6 months and say, "Gosh, I regret that."
And we've seen that happen. We've seen this, and not even related to the pandemic. We've seen stuff in the past that people have gotten into debates over, and we've seen comments of "Thank you for showing us why we're never going to do business with you again,"
and
because of a comment,
60 likes to that comment.
Exactly. So it's really important.
It just doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Not communicate from an emotional standpoint. And it can be really hard to do that sometimes because you're talking about your baby, but you just have to take a step back, or maybe even have somebody else read what you were going to post before you post it, and have them proof you and say, "Hey, is this exactly what we want to communicate?"
And usually I'm for as quick a response as you can give.
Sure.
But if it's going to be an emotional response, give yourself the 24-hour rule.
Yeah.
You'd rather be late to a response and give it the response that you'd be proud of. Right. Then be too quick with a response and give one that you regret afterward.
That's good advice right there. Hey guys, we appreciate you so much for taking the time to watch the podcast. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, share this with anybody you think needs to hear this information. We're here for you. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, we are here for you 24/7. So if there's something you want us to answer on a podcast, if there's something you need advice on going into the reopening, we're here for you. So just give us a shout. You can reach anybody here at the team at info@youronlineedge.com. We just appreciate you so much. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for taking the time to watch the podcast.